I think I'm live. Am I live? I think I am live. Hooray. Hello. Can you hear me? You appear. Yes, you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. Alert box. Oh, they changed some stuff. That's. Oh shit! I forgot. uh, yeah. I forgot. I have coffee on the stove right now, so I will have to leave at some point. And that's fine to show. Um, it's not ideal, but I think it's fine. The wallet address is not a problem. That's not the secret. I should turn off all of this stuff though. There's no way that was visible. Fair number of all right. Stream elements. Did I get posted here? No. Right, and then I think I just copy over. Alrighty. What are we doing today? I have a lot of plans actually. The question is, which ones are we actually going to do? I think I said I was going to do Blender, so I will do that. Um. Right, and I know when it'll happen because I hear Discord will bling at me um, when it posts. So, but I should still put in a thing saying like "be right back" or summit. Oh, I have this. I can say, here you go. Look, it says BRB. Be right back. Oh no, there's one viewer. It's just Aaron. Hold on, I'll be right back. It's just you. All right. So we're not being cool. We're not streaming on Theta TV because it's apparently a thing to get. It's like they're not like it's not like fully open yet. So it's like there's more setup that I still need to do. But what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I don't need any of you. Twitch. Oh, I missed that entirely. Whoops. There was a meeting today that I just apparently just didn't go to. What am I doing with my life? I am preparing to set up gonna hook up this. There's kind of three things I want to do today on this day of days. Friday. Let's see. So I want to do. I kind of just want to like map out that data processing pipeline that I mentioned, because I kind of like it. I headed it out and like it's actually pretty straightforward, but I just want to like write it down. That won't take very long. I do want to look at your code, Aaron, assuming you're the only person still here. I think that's true, but I don't know. The number counter is actually kind of, it seems laggy, probably by design. So I want to map out that processing pipeline, look at Aaron's code. Still just you. What's up, buddy? I don't want to do like a deep dive on that. I just kind of want to like check in on it. And then I want to spend the bulk of the time working on developing the Blender add-on, because I think I'm actually like kind of in the space where that's a very like tractable thing, where I think all the tools are currently on the table to be able to make a Blender add-on. I figured out, I think, a reasonably good method, not perfect, but a reasonably good method to actually connect VS Code's debugger to Blender. So I can be editing code in VS Code and then running it on Blender. Is what I would have said this time yesterday. This time today, I discovered there's actually some like pretty like potentially like deep down bugs with some aspects of it, but I think other aspects are still good. So what I want to start doing is just developing the add-on that you can basically just point it, sort of similar to what we've been talking about, where the add-on just says like show me the config file, and then once you show it the config file, it then loads everything in as a Blender scene, because ultimately all the fiddle faddling with like matplotlib and like Plotly, which I've honestly kind of given up on Plotly. I think it may still have a place at the table, but it's not, the functionality that it would add is not far enough beyond matplotlib to make it kind of worth the time sink right now, is I think where I'm at with that. But I think once we can get this, like if we can get a recording session like created as a scene in Blender, then that is a very powerful tool, because Blender is a very powerful tool designed to allow artists to have super low level control over every single aspect of a three-dimensionally defined environment. So that'd be cool. Split up. Okay, yes, and the live stream has now been blidipped, which means that people will probably start showing up, or maybe they won't, because it's a beautiful and sunny Friday. Oh, I forgot to reply to that guy. Oi. Alrighty. Let's do. I'm gonna plop this on. I also so the reason why I was going away when you showed up is because like I sat down and was like, all right, I'm gonna start the stream. So I started the stream, and then I was like, oh shit, I just put coffee on the stove, and like and it's like almost done. So I gotta like get things set up and then I'll go. So I put like the BRB thing there, and I went to go check on it, and I realized that I did not actually turn the stove on. So then I was left with a situation where I had to decide, well, do I turn it on now and like come back to it again? And that's the decision that I made. Is that I do that indeed. Ba 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 da ba da ba bum ba da da bum 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 ba ba bum ba da da da. Okay, there's that. Hello, everybody. People are showing up. I think I still can't really tell because I click on the user thing and it's like bleh. Oh right, but I wanted to turn this on. Oh, I have multi-stream chat read. I'm also, I think, gonna be officially switching from Streamlabs to. So right now I'm using Streamlabs OBS, which is this tool that I'm like no, I'm like not a huge fan of it, but I've also only ever used this one, so it's possible that this is just like as good as it gets. Who knows? But I also want to use OBS Studio because that is it's like a free open source situations, which is becoming a very big part of my vibe these days, which is something I'm kind of into. Um, I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again. Like, I was never really like I was always like into open source stuff before, well, really before the pandemic, but something about it kind of hits different when you're in a position of power, which I am now. Like I think I still kind of agree. It felt like it kind of wasn't my job to be into that stuff while I was like grad student, like undergrad, grad student, postdoc. Um, yeah, nice. Uh, Actually, the what's the word? The acronym for Streamlabs OBS, which I've just found online, is SLOBS. For so, there you go. So it's slobs versus obs. Um, but also, why won't this thing ever turn on? I'm trying to turn this guy on, but it doesn't want to. So I may have, but I want it to. Oh yeah. Slobs versus obs. Exactly. Yeah. It's it's what it's. I don't know. It's just kind of like now that I also like a big part of my problem with like up until this point, a big part of my problem with the open source community is that like they like kind of act like they're welcoming, but then they don't actually put enough effort into like documentation and like making it easy for people. Like the open source community just kind of assumes you come in with a certain amount of technical background. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, oh well, I really would love to like do all my analyses in Python and whatnot. It's like, how do you do it? It's like, good luck, figure it out. What's a virtual environment? Or more realistically, it's like there's like 10,000 different documents that all kind of tie on each other. So in the pandemic, I have become much more technically skilled, um, which has allowed me to actually engage with this stuff. Why this is not turning on? It's making me sad. Um, Also, I just heard my coffee boiling over. Uh, so I'm gonna do this power move again and say sorry, friendos. My time is better spent elsewhere. But I'll be right back. Just like the thing says. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's your old pal John from before. Okay. All right. So Stop yelling at me, Slack. I don't want to hear it right now. Go away. Goodbye. Okay, I don't know what the fuck this thing is. Okay, now you're turning on. Thank you. I guess let's start with Aaron's code while this is still starting. This is GitKraken. Everybody say hello. How are we doing? Let's see. We go. Updating config YAMLs. That's the most up to date one. Are you still there, Aaron? Seems to be. Mocap run me. Recording config. Webcam run me. All right. Let's show in folder. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh my god. Okay, what do I need? Get old. I feel like I don't need get old anymore. There's so many things in here. Parameters, YAML. Ah. I see. Oh, look. Two almost completely identical applications. How could anyone ever get confused about which one is which? Okay, are we in the right folder here? Appear to be. Yeah, we're in the right folder. Okay. No Python interpreter. I think I still want this one. Okay. Open mocap. Let's see. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hey, break. Everybody calm down. Go away. Yeah. All of these, like VS Code in particular, is very easy. Like it's one of these things that you can change anything in it, including like all I want is to have like a palette that says, instead of gunmetal gray, just get me like a reddish gray or a greenish gray or a bluish gray, and then I can just have it. It's like, I don't know. I did that once. Red color theme. Evil red. I kind of don't hate it, but I kind of also do hate it. So these are. Let's see if I can get my eyes. It's just a little low contrast. I do like the idea of having kind of like red theme, because I think like blue is a rough color for a lot of reasons. So I kind of like the reddish thing, but also like it's a little low contrast, which actually gets into some interesting. Hi, Mom. That's my mom. Everybody say hi, Mom. Or it's, I think probably green. Our eyes are very good at green because of how Earth is. Matrix Green? Is that a guy? Oh, Matrix Green. Yeah. Like the Matrix. Like that famous guy. Matrix. Oops. Okay. Okay. All right, what the hell am I doing with my life? I have gotten distracted, as I am wont to do. later. Let's keep it red for now. Okay, I am actually, this is just turned on, so I am going to just very quickly take a side track into let's plan out a processing pipeline. And we will do that using the very wonderful Chrome add-on called Chrome Remote Desktop. Welcome to this. Look at that. Oh, you can't look at that, but now you can look at that. This is now just I'm just sharing this screen there. This is basically the best method that I figured out to have like a whiteboard app when I was teaching last semester. Yeah, it's it's actually not clunky. It's just expensive. Like this is like a whole ass computer that I'm just using as a whiteboard, and like there are tablets. You can just use a tablet, but like this is the best system I came up with for the tools that I had available, and I happen to have a tablet like this, and so there you go. Chrome Remote Desktop though is great. Great. That's not. Yeah. Anyways, I should be careful making signals. Okay. So. Oh, actually, I don't want it like this. So, this is for the. Oh, that's not what we need. Qualisys mocap laser skeleton pipeline. So this is basically all the stuff that we're going to need to do to generate. I should put a laser skeleton up. I'll do that real quick. In a very classically me move, my decision to switch my, what am I doing here? Media source. My decision to switch to a different streaming software coincides almost perfectly with me achieving like minimal level competency with the current one that I'm using. Because that's how I choose to live my life. You want this one? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much. It's just like, I don't know. It's like you get these. I feel like there's a real risk of getting stuck in like these like local maxima. And so it's like I don't ever want to be too comfortable. Loop. Hush, boy. Hushabye. Okay. So now if you get bored, you just look at that. Okay, so we're trying to generate a laser skeleton. And this currently in the lab, we have 3 potential sources to laser skeletry, which is the plural of laser skeleton. One is the open mocap stuff, so that's this one up here. That's this guy. No, not that guy. This guy. So that's like the markerless motion capture thing. It doesn't have like once we slap an eye tracker onto it, this will be laser skeletonable, which is cool. We have this option, which this laser skeleton is based off of IMU based motion capture and eye tracking. I've just started playing. I have a Rococo IMU based mocap suit. It seems pretty solid. I've been sending kind of like really salty emails to their development team because of like the inaccessibility of the raw data, but it seems like there actually is a solution there, so that's fine. Let me make that bigger because for space. There we go. Now we are completely overwhelming people. Shock and all, y'all. So we have markerless motion capture laser skeleton. We have IMU based laser skeleton, and we also have like my traditional motion capture laser skeleton, which is that's the Qualisys system. And I just want to kind of, and like the goal is to eventually have all of these data types sort of processed down and distill into a common format that will probably, it'll be some combination of like a Blender Python thing, but it's going to be connected to MATLAB too. It's a whole thing. But for now, things are still kind of trickling their way through. So I'm just going to try to sort of get down on paper the sort of what is and is not done with the Qualisys system to get that sort of prepared. So there are, I'm just going to bang through this. I don't want to, like, there's, yeah, you'll be fine. Actually, okay, sorry. Good Lord. I'll throw up another piece of, just another piece of eye candy because I just cannot stop myself. Media source, ad source, news source, offline, ad source, loop, browse, world, downloads, world, open. There we go. Done. So this is eye tracking data from the lab the other day. I'll just put it down here because this is the relevant one. And I'm not really using that yet. So this is the stuff from the lab. I don't want to talk about it. Just look at it. I'm just trying to distract you while I do boring stuff. So what do we have? So, okay, so we currently have Qualisys mocap data, which will so that comes down to like the raw mocap, I'm going to call it the qual skeleton. And then we're going to, this one is going to be, this is going to be MATLAB-y, I think, for a variety of reasons, not the least of which being like, I don't really feel the drive to be super open source about like how to process data from a system that's this expensive. And I'm already developing other methods that are open source. So, and that goes into MATLAB. And that kind of already exists. That already sort of, that's a kind of, that's check. We also want pupil labs eye tracking data. Let's call that your red. That's the data. That's this data. That's the eye tracking data of looking over the seas. It's a thing. Don't worry about it. So we got the raw data, which is what you're looking at, and it looks pretty good. From there, we need to temporally sync with the flash. So in this video, can I scroll through it? I don't think I can actually. That's weird. In the very beginning, maybe just I think right there. Watch this flash. See that flash? Timing. That's a little hand flash, and we need to use that to synchronize these two things. That has not been done. Not been done. I guess that means, I don't know. Not done. So temporal sync needs to happen, and then spatial calibrate. spatial calibrate. It's fine, don't worry about it. So that's the MATLAB. So the MATLAB skeleton where it tells you where the body is, which tells you where the head is, which tells you where the eyes are. So that is the location that you need to attach the eye tracking data once it has been temporally synchronized. So once you have these two things together, then you have your, see that? So once you have these two things, come on, then you have your laser skeleton, which that's the laser skeleton with laser shooting out of its head. Hey, Somber Sauce, how you doing? Welcome back. We're doing some road mapping, and then we're gonna do some Python blendering, or just some Pythoning, and then do Python blender. We're winging it, as per usual. So this is already done. This is not done. I'm going to draw a line around things that haven't been done yet. No, I'm not. It's fine. I'll just remember. In addition to that, we also got the AR ground plane. Which that is the, let's do that purple. So the AR ground plane is the projector system that is projecting those like C's and O's onto the ground. And that is currently partially, so let's see, that needs to be synced to Qualisys, which I would say that's partially, so that's temporally and spatially synced. So, and that's, I say that's kind of like partially done. And the nice thing is because if this thing is synced to that thing, then it will also be synced to that thing. So if we synchronize the Pupil Labs stream with the Qualisys data, then it will also be synchronized with the with the AR ground plane stuff. The AR ground plane is done in Unity. It's a whole thing. Sync to Qualisys. That's kind of done. Once that's done, okay, you don't need to be there. It's fine. Once that, then you have to have data logging of like data logging from Unity of the target locations of call it trial info, and then which that is also not done or partially done. Steve's been working on it. And then once that's done, then the laser skeleton and that data can be good, and then that will be laser skeleton on the AR ground plane terrain. And then this guy, let's get some colors on there. Get them. This is the guy this is the data that will be analyzed for science, right? That's because once you have that, you basically have the body, you have the body's movements, you have the eye's movements, and you have the environment, and you have defined that experiment. And so that will be the actual data type that we will be sort of analyzing for like scientific purposes, and like what does it all mean for neuroscience kind of stuff. This will probably live in some combination. It'll be a data format that I'm gonna try to make as my endeavor is to make that data format identical ish between the Qualisys based motion capture system, the fancy thing in my lab, the IMU based motion capture system, which is like the outdoor research, and then the Marcellus motion capture system, that's like the free open source sort of low cost hardware version of it. And the idea is to have all of them kind of like funneled into funneled through a processing pipeline so that in the end they have something like this where, I guess to be more specific, it's let's not do this full on guy. Let's do this color. So we got is full body kinematics. That's like kinematics is like movement plus binocular gaze data plus as much of the world as is relevant. Much. Let's be a little more scientific about it. I said kinematics, so we're already in jargon territory. So full body kinematics plus binocular gaze data plus task relevant environmental info. Right? So the parts of the world that are relevant to the task. If you're juggling, then the juggling ball is relevant. If you're walking over rocks, then the rocks are relevant. If you're walking over C's and circles, then those are relevant. And so once you have all of these things, big and thick, get it? That's the data that we want. Once you have all that, then you have everything. So the goal is to basically have a processing pipelines for Qualisys, for Marcellus. Let's say Qualisys mocapper, open mocap, Qualisys mocap data, open mocap data, and IMU mocap data. All will be processed down into the same format that has this character, and then that's where that's the money. That's the goal. That's in those datums will live the scientific questions that speak to our hearts. And it's like a lot of work, but like a lot of it's already kind of done. So we'll see. Yes, it's basically how does the eyeball connect to the football, how does the foot bone connect to the eye bone, and how does all of those talk to the world bones. And science is hard, y'all. Okay, but that was task 1. That was the first thing I wanted to do, and so I did it. So hooray. That's actually, I like this though. This is nice. This is very helpful because like basically this part's basically Trent. And like I've kind of done some of that. This part is also kind of Trent, but also I'm going to help with this. This is like, Trent's going to actually, this part's also kind of Trent. But this is actually mostly, this is mostly, so this is going to be basically Trent. This is going to be me plus Trent, and this is going to be Steven plus Trent. Because this is kind of Steven, because this part of the project, this is kind of what Trent is working on. So basically it's, there's a bunch of work that Trent needs to do. It's just a bunch of work that Trent needs to organize. So, and as an advisor, it is my job to help him learn how to do that. Because somehow, the world believes I'm qualified to do that. Fools. Wait, what's that? Okay. So, that's this plan, and I'm happy to have it. 453. Let's take a look at your thing, Aaron, and we'll see where we get. I'm like hard done at 6. Thu. By the way, Mom, I wasn't calling you for any particular reason. I was just calling you, and then like you called back and I didn't answer. So just to assuage your motherly concerns, we're all good. What am I doing with my life again? Where are we? Who are you? Air ground plane? Do I still want you there? I don't. What is this? Retinal flow, retinal flow. Oh, this is just the right. I was like trying to figure out how to turn this off in Streamlabs, but I'm just streaming this window, so it's fine. And then I am gonna turn this off. What do we think about this video? Does it track at all? Like, I can make a lot of sense out of it because it's kind of my wheelhouse, but I would understand if it's a little low context. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Goodbye. And then I say, get cracking, get over here. And now we're gonna let's live with this red theme. Let's see how we feel about it. Cause why not? Dun 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 dun. Let's see. There's no sound there. I want to make sure. Okay. I'm also going to turn on some good old-fashioned royalty-free space wave. No, fine. This is lo-fi, not space wave, because I couldn't find any. There's ways to. Don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So let's see here. So close this, close this, close this. Old OMC. Oh, this is where the whole guy lives. Okay, shush. So, no. Oh, I keep turning down. There's like too many volume ballers. There's so many sliders. I forgot that like my volume and your volume are like. Actually, I guess they are related to each other. Your volume is a percentage of my volume. So if I turn down my volume, it turns it down for you too. But if I turn down your volume, it doesn't do anything to mine. So you guys can probably like barely hear that, which is fine. So this. So this is the Open Mocap. This is the actual Open Mocap module that gets imported, I believe. And it's got this, and it literally just says init, and then it's just looking for that, right? I guess that's how that works. I think this folder should be called Open Mocap, but that's confusing because the outer folder is called that. We can leave it like this for now. Because the whole folder is called Open Mocap, and then this folder is called OMC, which that doesn't matter, so it's fine. Here's some parameters. Ooh, look at this guy. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I have on a lot of this sort of like naming convention stuff. Like, I don't want to push it. Like, I don't want to backshelf it too hard. But at the same time, like, it's just kind of like until we start like cranking on data, like naming conventions won't be a problem. The reason why naming conventions become super important once you start accruing large amounts of data, and particularly when you're trying to like process it programmatically, then you really want all your naming conventions to be set. But we're not there yet, and we're not gonna be for a bit. So there was a lot of temp. There's a lot of temp stuff going on right now, and I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Or we can just procrastinate on it so long that it become sort of stuck on it. But let's not do that. Okay, so we got to README. This is the original README. Yeah. Kylie's not watching this, but if she watches this later, I hope she hears that I really appreciate the work that was being done in the Obsidian folder to make kind of like the extensive README, and I think that that's gonna start getting folded into this, especially once it starts getting because right now it's not. It will start, but basically like the README is not accurate. So we'll start fleshing that out. It's also like nowhere near sufficient to overcome the complaint that I just had, which is that open projects don't provide enough avenues for non-experts to use them. But we'll get there. Open mocap. So this open mocap, right, this is the original-ish. This looks like the original. Yeah. Again, another confusing naming convention there. Then you got the mocap RunMe, README RunMe. This is 3 weeks ago. It looks like whoever it was that suggested GitLens is a peach, a gem. Is it weird to call someone a peach? I think it is. So, Aaron, which one should I be using? Webcam RunMe? RunMe. This also seems kind of old. This is 3 weeks old. Yeah, this looks like. Yeah. Naming convention thing that I think we should switch to right away is because we have so many RunMe files, we should call them RunMe, like RunMe_mocap or RunMe_webcam, so that way they'll sort in the same place. Because right now, here's your mocap, here's your webcam, and here's your regular. So, I think we should just swatch them around. Yeah. It's interesting how much naming convention is based off of like how things will sort in a folder. Like that's why so much of this apparently that's why so much is like this dot this and like underscore that is like so that it will be on top when you sort it by name. Also dot is like a signal to ignore a lot of the time. Okay, let's do webcam RunMe. Use GUI equals true. There's a GUI. Can I just run you? It'll probably, I guess, do I have another? 1 second. Let me go grab another webcam. Another webcam? How many webcams do you have? Don't ask that question. That's not a good question. I have a lot of webcams. Actually, I gave Aaron. I gave Aaron 3 webcams. I still have way more than 3 in this house. And you have like 4 as well that technically belong. I have a lot of webcams in my life. What was that? Okay, so now here's another webcam. Hello. Okay, let's do the old regular. I don't want to read your code, so I'm just going to put a breakpoint at the top and say run. It works. I'm always shocked. I mean, it worked like in that it got to like the first line. Oh, okay, I see. So from OMC, import webcam, record GUI, recording, config. I see. From OMC. Oh. I see. So from this folder. So OMC. So Python views OMC to like says, oh, you're looking for this folder. And then it says from this folder import these fellows. And then the init py just tells it that this is a folder of note. Is that something like that? Let's step into. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, it struck me recently just like the extent to which like modern computing is just like there's like it's just like there's so like this is like we're approaching like a century of just like accumulated human effort that everyone's just making these little modules. They're just like, okay, this works, don't touch it. Just as long as the inputs are like this and the outputs are like that, like you don't need to know what's going on inside. And we just have like we're just kind of learning how to interface with like these deep waters. It's like, it's like it's cool. It's cool. It's wild. It's like the only way any of this could ever work. It takes a village. It takes a global civilization and several wars. Hopefully we can get better than that. Okay. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh man, let's go on a little journey. Yeah, I'm realizing that now. I just, in the past like 45 seconds, learned like a ton about how Python works. Just like that one little breakpoint was like, oh. Okay, so now we're stepping into, so we're going to go on a little journey. So what's cool is that, why you got me with this guy? Where's that guy? What are you doing? No, we're doing webcam on me. All right. So when you go here, the first place that it popped into, like when I said step into, the first place it went to is this init.py. And then I think if let's see, is that F11? I'm gonna start hitting F11. I need to get the thing that overlays the keyboard presses, but I've been saying that for a while now. Yeah. So it immediately goes, I think probably the first thing you reference is webcam. Yes. And the next one is going to pop into record GUI. I think it doesn't, I don't think it does anything. I think it just pops into the first line and then next one. No, it does go there. Oh, it does go all the way through. Okay. Importing stuff. No module called 2QDM. Well, I give up. I'm kidding. It is going to crash though. So now we're over here. So now we've opened up an Anaconda prompt. It's cool. I actually do understand it. It's just kind of like just the complexity. Good Lord. Okay, so now I've opened up an Anaconda prompt, and I have says to you, I have says activate open mocap, and now we're in the open mocap environment. From here, I say conda install to TQDM, because apparently I didn't have that installed in this environment. Yes, do it. And I can do this, and I can make you bigger, because was it Mycon that taught me how to do that? I think it was. He also told me how to make the colors. Look at that colors. Isn't it nice? Anyway. Okay, so that's gonna fail now. That's fine. So now we run it again. Boink. Just to do a little bit of what's the word? It seems unlikely that I'll be able to make much progress in the Blender add-on today, considering where I'm sitting right now and what the clock says. But I'm gonna chug through this. But around, let's say at 5:40, I will do like a quick little like hibbity dibbity into. I don't have Ruamel YAML. I should add that. I'll do a quick thing just to show like what my recent progress in connecting Blender with VS Code, but I don't think I'm going to make much progress in actually like slurping the data in there. There's a little bit more conceptual stuff I need to figure out before I can really expect to make any progress there. But I'm going to probably be doing this until about 5:40, and then I'll spend a little bit of time like just playing with the connection between VS Code and Blender, VS Code's debugger and Blender's Python, and then we'll take it from there. So I know I said that specifically for you because I thought that might have been like the reason why you showed up, but it's so good. It's like Blender has been very instrumental in my sort of like move towards like open source and open science kinds of stuff. Because it's just kind of like, I'm just kind of looking at it and it's just like, man, this is such a cool program that's just like the model of it, like the way that it operates just like philosophically feels right to me in a way that a lot of other like pieces of software don't. Like I just think like there's so much like distributed human effort that went into creating this thing, and it kind of like you can feel it in the community, that the community does feel a lot of ownership over it, and I think that's really amazing, and it's something that I would like to and it's connected right now to like art, which is wonderful, and I want to connect it to science as well because I feel like it could be a really powerful scientific tool. And it's just kind of not right now, but I think it could be. I think it very easily not easily, very feasibly could be. It just someone needs to like spend the time and effort to do it, and like maybe that'll be us. All I need to do is get a couple grants about it. Activate, activate, open mocap map. Is it? Do I know? Aaron, do I want to install Ruaml? Or is it ruaml.yaml? Is it like conda install Ruaml? Ruaml? Is it this? The whole, okay. Like that? Yeah, seems to like it. No, it didn't. It hates it. Oh. No, it doesn't hate it. Go. Cool. Anything else? Pathlib should be good. tkinter. Do I have tkinter? What are you still thinking about over here? There you go. Conda. Oh, is it? Okay. Mutils. Matplotlib. Oh, is this you trying to figure out like the Matplotlib backend stuff? Okay. We're on a timeline. We're on a time frame. Yeah, it's classic. No, it's classic. It's kind of one of that has there's a certain frenetic energy to this import statement that feels familiar in my heart of like, for love of God, if I just import this. Oh, okay. Oh, right. I guess your recent adventures in Matplotlib problems wouldn't be in this commit. This would be, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do this, and then let's step inside, and we're in the init file, and then go to webcam, and then is it really gonna ask me to step through every single line? Oh, that's interesting. So in this one, you also call this one, which is interesting. Oh, okay. So I see. So it's just running through here and grabbing all the definition, all the function definitions. So it knows. So if you call one of these things, yeah. So it's counting the class name, the function definitions, class name. Yeah. Proceed GUI. So this is it's now grabbing the information it needs so that later if I call like whatever proceed GUI from the main thing at OMC dot or whatever. Ah, cool, cool. Yeah. Cool, cool. Just like I'm still just wrapping my head around like what a Python import statement actually is, and I feel like I now just learned uh, a big clue. Um, yeah, so that's what. So we're now currently going on a little journey of all of the things that we're importing and getting all the names of all the functions and the classes that we will be allowed to call. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. It just jumped over webcam because it already recognized it. Cool. Da da da. Do it. Use a path. If not, use a path. Create a session ID. It's been a second since I've looked in here. Like, this is nice. It's like looking good. Familiar things. Session ID in. And then we got over, over here. I just want to see how this gets formatted. Ah. Um. So I think I would like. This is very close to what I like. I think I would prefer to say 2021, just so it's obvious that it's a year. Um, like, and then part of me wants to say that I would. I generally like to like sort of it would be like sesh underscore 2021 dash. So that way it's like the year is more obvious. So it's like 2021 dash 03 dash 19 underscore and then these numbers. Um, yeah. Again, I'm just kind of talking out loud here. Uh, I guess I also looked over here and realized that like the standard call to year um, only gives the last two. You'd think we would have learned our lesson with Y2K, but I guess not. Kick that down the road. Um, it's whatever. I'm not going to stress out about it. This will still do the main job, which is it will sort correctly. It's just the reason why I say that is like when I look at that string of numbers, my brain takes a second to recognize it as a date. And if I think if it was like sesh 2021 and then the date was separated by dashes, I think my brain would parse that as a date just like half a second quicker. So like that's I think you want stuff to like scan well. So um, yeah, it's like a it's a signal to your brain that like something has changed. Um, cool. Uh, Someday we may want to do something DLC like where we like embed things about like the subject or the task or something in this. But I think for now, just calling it sesh, um, which also I just kind of think it's funny to call things like in a scientific context to call things a sesh because that's super like skater kid like I just think it's funny. Ooh, we got a parameters path. I'm very excited about this. Well, it's a path. The path is not very exciting, but what it represents. Parameters.yaml. This... I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess you copy pasted this from somewhere, because this is one of those things that's kind of like, what is this even doing? It's like, how do you load in a YAML? It's like, copy paste this, and you're like, okay. That's how programming works. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, nice. That's the thing. That's the thing I like about this too. Like this world versus like MATLAB world is like. With this, like, it feels like you're part of like a mesh of people who are all just like working on their little thing. With MATLAB, it feels like you're like interfacing with a monolith that like doesn't have a face, it doesn't have an identity, it just is a thing, and it's very expensive, and it doesn't care about you. With this kind of stuff, it's like you feel like you could like call this guy up and be like, hey, I don't know, what was I doing here? What I was trying to do? Parameters.yaml. Where'd it go? Did we just... Anyway, what? There's another tab here that just disappeared. Default. So this is the default settings. Codec Divic. Save parameters saved as this. There's a bit of a confusion right now. I'm guessing that somewhere later on, because like this should be like because like there's a default setting here for default stuff, and then there's also saved here, which is like, which makes me think that this is something that would come after the fact. Oh, hey Zeka, how you doing? Welcome back. We're going through this webcam recording stuff, and we are just on the topic of I'm doing good. We're making progress with the open mocap stuff. I realize now that my my proposed timeline for when it was going to be released was shall we say optimistic. We hit a variety of snacks. Basically, it's still happening. Progress is being made. It's just like everything takes a lot of time. So we're still definitely talking like, I think we're talking weeks. It's possible we're talking months, but if we're talking months, it should definitely be like 2, like tops. God help us. If I haven't released something by May, I'll be very upset. I just want to make sure that things are like, I don't want to like, because if I share it now, it'll just be a bunch of broken code that will be really hard to get running. So I want it to be at a place that like I feel I don't want to throw this out into the world without it being ready. Yes, I will release it soon, in the fullness of time. But yeah, so Aaron, this looks to me like something that would get saved after a recording. Like these are the parameters, and then these are the ones that were saved. So it makes me think that there's probably something later on that saves out the after the fact parameters with the same name as parameters.yaml. Because this feels like it. Well, obviously, yeah. Like maybe this should be called like default parameters. Yeah. Oh, I see. I see. I see. So try this, try that. Okay. Yeah, the bones are all here. I think like the specifics of the specifics of the use case the specifics of how it actually gets used in practice will be shaken out as we start working. A very important on the topic of releasing this stuff. A very important stage in that process is still like getting it to a place where like you and or Trent I think is probably going to be a little. Trent will be like down to play along, but I think he's got a lot of work to do. So I think it'll be mostly you driving, Aaron, and then once it's so like right now it's I can record it, and then that's one, and then once you can record it, that'll be two. And I think that going from zero, like a lab meeting, 0 to 1 is hard. 1 to 2 is easier. 2 to 3 should start getting pretty easy, and then from 3 onwards, like that. Hopefully, at that point, you've kind of got a rhythm down. So right now, we're trying to get from 1 to 2, where I am 1 and you are 2. And then once we have that, then Trent will probably be 3, and then I think Kylie will be 4, and then once Kylie's running it, then I think it should be ready to go. Okay, let's keep on trucking. F11. Oh no! Round trip scanner object has no attribute. The fuck? What's this round trip scanner object? Okay. Round trip scanner. I think I pushed the wrong button. I feel like I pushed the wrong button. Like I think I. So let's just see if that's what happened. So parameters are in here. Yeah, I think my finger slipped and I pushed some weird. I think I pushed like a weird F key, and so that's probably what it is. Naming convention stuff. Parameters right now is vague. Parameters can be many things. So something like a webcam or camera parameters, or recording parameters, because in other places you'll see parameters. Like parameters is like experimental parameters. Like in the air ground plane stuff, parameters is like the size of the C's and the numbers, and like you'll often see cam parameters as a place to store like lens intrinsics and stuff like that. So I think like recording parameters or something, or webcam. I think webcam parameters is probably the right call, or something like that. Again, it's coding style stuff, but you know. Try. Okay. So I just got there. I just hit the wrong button. Parameters. Look at all these parameters. Look at them all in there. Keys. YAML tags. I always look at this like, I don't know what you are. They're bound methods. Yeah, look at that. That's a social. Look at that guy. Look at him go. So we got like rotations in here. So default. It's an order dict. Look at that. Do you have res width? Wait, what was it? Saved. Use your real human eyes, John. Okay, there it is. Rotations, parameters. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's got ordered. Or not ordered, it's like, it's hierarchical. That's cool. Look at them. There it is. It's very cool. There's some things I just really like. I like connected node graphs. I like hierarchical data formats. It's just like, that's what I like. Okay, cool. So now we are at line 39, and we have a bunch of stuff. We have loaded in the camera parameters, the recording parameters. Um, we have pulled out our specified rotations. It appears to be okay if they're empty, I'm assuming. The other parameters are probably, yeah, you got your, yeah. Oh, and this is going to be the guy that you feed to the webcam recorder, just like before. It's a little dictionary. So here is where you're, I see. So you pulled from default and then you push into saved. I'm really excited about your GUI. So, okay, so record run GUI. Let's do this line by line. Root, camera choice. So some things you might want to add is things like the camera numbers, which presumably is like in there. I don't know. We'll figure this out. Oh, this is doing. Oh. This is part of the GUI. Is like figuring out which cameras to save. Test. It's doing a bunch of stuff. Man, Aaron, you put a lot of work into this. It's kind of cool. Like it's cool that you're putting a lot of work into it, but like that's one of the things I really appreciate about programming is like this is an incredibly complex thing that has just been built like piece by piece, just like every single part of this. I'm sure you can like reminisce on like the headache that it was at the time, but now that it works, it just works, and you can just keep piecing things together. And then you go back and you refactor it and you clean it up and like I don't know. So right now, is it just it's like looks like it's just kind of like gathering information again. Yeah, that's nice. You should leave it in, even if it becomes like nice. Even if it becomes like completely vestigial, you should just kind of like leave it in there for historical purposes. I see. I see. Oh. Oh, it's gonna take forever. I'm gonna. You can. Oh, look. I'm gonna do a cool programmer thing. Where are we in the stack? Uh, paused on step. Are we here? Uh, I don't know where we are. Okay. Over here. Webcam run me? Where are we at? Over here. Okay. I'm just gonna let it go. Get out of here, buddy. Yay! Look at this. Look at this beautiful GUI. So it's only seeing this webcam because this webcam, I only have two webcams attached to this computer, which for me is not very many. I have a third webcam here, but it's not attached, and I'm not going to attach it. So there's only one available webcam, and it is this one, and there it is. You have one camera available. You have one cameras available at inputs 2, which makes sense. This window reminds me of like every part of my childhood. Like this there were like 10 years where this is all that computers could do was this GUI. Let's do setup. Choose rotation. This is nice. Is it possible for this to have a preview attached to it? Because like, so that like the rotation, like I don't know, I know it needs to be rotated because it's like that, but I don't know which direction. Um, and like a lot of this stuff is like the exposure too. Is like you kind of want to check, like you just see if it's right. I don't know if you can. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Uh, I think I'll probably. Oh, I see. I just kind of misunderstood what that is. So. Oh, there's just run. Uh. Okay, let's stop there. Let's close all those. Let's do that. Oh, not that button. Nope. Yeah, don't worry about that preview thing. I think the right move for that. What are you thinking about? Oh, this is telling me this is progress of getting all those options and stuff. Oh, that's weird. This is a different number now. But let's just see. Let's see what happens if I hit record. I don't know why this said 1, but also when I was like fiddling with it, I heard like my computer like but like it something connected and reconnected, so that might be what happened. So this says record. So when it's gathering the options, is it saving them anywhere, or is that like a gathering for a drop-down menu? Yeah. Good old Tkinter. Let's just see what you do. Oh, we're still there. If task equals detect. Oh, I see. So, okay. So that GUI is just getting the settings that will be used later. So I see. Right. This is our not switch statements. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good call. Very good call. Again, that's the kind of thing, because like the computer that I use to record this is like fairly stable. Like I don't futz with it like I futz with this one. So like in some cases it might be, but again, that's going to be the kind of thing that like it's not going to be clear what the right way to do it is until we're doing it more often. We're doing it more often, and like multiple people are doing it with multiple computers and multiple settings, and like some people might like break it down and set it up every time. Some people might have it like set up and kind of stay, and like is kind of it'll grow over time. Okay, so now we're going through. We're making directories. Is this a real? This is today. So we're making these directories now. Let's watch them show up. Drata. This is us. Look at it go. Now we're going to have one called synced folders. Not just yet, but watch it. Watch it. Boom. It's working. Then you got the OpenPose data. That's the skeleton. You got the DLC data. That's the everything else. That's the juggling balls and the marker board and all that, and the wobble board and all that. Mout path. That's. Oh yeah, mout path is where I save, because like I don't know. I haven't figured out how to like make this save directly into a video file. So I just saved it out frame by frame into that folder. So it's a little that'll probably go away someday, but it's fine for now. in MATLAB, I know how to like pretty much. I save the image and then stuff it into an MP4 in one step, so you don't actually have that interim phase of like a folder with every frame of the video saved out, which is just good for a variety of reasons. But I I I like didn't even really try to get that working in Python, so but it's fine for now. There it is. Boo-hoo. Then you got these path lists. Ah, I see. I see what you've done. Ooh. Now we're creating an actual. Ooh, this is the. This is. I mean, I've seen the other part before in various forms, but this one is actually config settings. The YAML string. YAML string is. Oh, this is the YAML string. Gotcha. Right. This is just what we did with this is like mimicking DLC's YAML system. Did you check this? You said you were on the documentation for the rest. Anyways, I get it. It's cool. I think I see what's going on here. Yeah, totally. I know that you can. It was just more of a matter of this video was made on a timeline. So it was the kind of thing of like, oh, I know that it can be done. It's just like I punted on that one, as they say. Yeah, that's what I said actually when we were looking through that. I was like, so I was like, oh, we're gonna like steal DLC's like config.yaml system, but it's like, but like, it was kind of clear that like that's just what you do. That's how you make these things. So we were just using their case of this as an example of how to use a YAML config file. Okay. Oh. This is the same thing that happened last time. And once again, it happened when I was like not careful with my clicks. 130. Okay. We are approaching. We are at 540. So I'm gonna kind of gonna power through this, because I gotta select a camera. That's fair. I would like to see this get to the point where it's actually saving the YAML out. Oh, it's me. Hello. Hi, everybody. Let's pretend I'm doing interesting stuff. I'm juggling. Look. Cool. So this is like as if I was juggling. Like this is recording like data right now, I think. Which is cool. And then I push escape, I think. But wait, why didn't it get stuck here? Is this preview? Let's just see. Oh. Yeah, look at that. A little bit of blips here, but no big deal. Yeah, pretty much. Right now there's just the one. And then this thing, I showed this a couple weeks ago, but basically this is the when there are more cameras, this is how you kind of tell that they all kind of recorded correctly, which there's a lot of ways they can mess up in the recording, and if they do, then you these 4 videos need to be like synchronized. So You can see if you look at the camera timestamps here, like right around here, there were frame drops because this is frame number versus time. And if it was a perfect recording, this would be just a diagonal line. But there's frame drops here, but there's not many. It's just for whatever reason these things blid-dipped. Probably because there's a ton of stuff happening on my computer right now. And then these are some basically ways of checking that things recorded correctly. And it's probably it. This might be a good test. I wonder if this is gonna freak out because it's gonna be trying to look for multiple cameras. Oh yeah, Somber Saws, absolutely. This is kind of part of my personal vibe as a scientist. Is I only understand things if they're displayed graphically. So when I was working with Aaron about developing this, I was just we were kind of going back and forth with words, and I was just finding okay, let me just describe the plot that I want to see that will convince me that it is working, and the results were good. And it's actually kind of that sort of conversation, which took place over weeks, kind of changed the way I've thought about how to do this lab managing stuff. And I think that because a lot of people have complimented this since then, Aaron, and it kind of makes me think that a lot of the way that I should continue to do this mentorship thing is in that way of let me just explain to you the picture that I want you to draw with numbers that will convince me that it is working, because that's actually how I operate. And by doing that, you A, convince me that it's working, which is all I want, and B, you learn how to plot data graphically, and C, then the plots are just there, and they survive, and as long and you can just keep using them, and eventually something like this will show up in a publication, and it's good. Okay, let's see what happened. It might freak out. Actually, Aaron, where and when does the config show up for this recording? Or does that get saved out? Does that come out here? Right after you use the GUI. Where would it be? Is it in the session folder? I think I'm in the session folder. So this is sesh 274. Oh, it's the other one. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. Nice. That's great. And we can just keep building this out basically, because this is a great start. These are all the paths, because I'm thinking when for Blender, right, when I'm starting to we're gonna start to that right now real quick, but so say I want to make a Blender add-on. Yeah, totally. Yeah, right. Similar to this, you can have it arranged hierarchically and stuff like this. And I kind of think that the DLC model, which again is kind of the vibe. So one thing we can do just to save space, we could save a base path. So there's I guess, yeah. So there's basically you have the session path, and then you have all the raw paths, so there's a lot of redundancy here. So you can have it kind of eventually you can have it be kind of clever, because this is the default configuration, meaning this is the run webcams version of this, where everything is being generated on the fly. So all this really needs to say is session path is this, and then raw vid path is session path / raw videos or whatever, which can be overridden by the user in various places, but it's whatever. But so now I can make a, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. So and it's actually not even a problem. I think having the full path here that there's advantages to that as well. Yeah, yeah, you have to save it as a string. Hmm. Um, I'm not 100% sure I agree with what I'm about to say, but I think I am. I think it's best to force it to save as a Unix path because I think that because the Windows path has backslashes, which are a problem because they're the escape characters. So you have to do like this weird like string literals bullshit. Um, Whereas a Unix path uses forward slashes, which is like doesn't have that problem. And a Windows system will happily read a Unix path, but a Unix system will not read a Windows path. So I think that we should all just so if the entire I don't know if this is true, but I think if the entire world just switched all of its paths to forward paths tomorrow, no one would have a problem with it. So the only problem is that Windows default saves paths with a backslash, which leads to all this fucking string literals bullshit. Um, so I think you should ask. You can tell it to do it. Like you can like say like as POSIX or something like that. But I think just forcing it to save Unix, I think will ultimately be to the good. But I may eat those words, but you gotta eat something. Um, but yeah, so basically this becomes the config file that if I make a Blender add-on and I want to say take all this data and load it in as a Blender scene, I don't need to like keep track of what's where. All I need to do is just point it at that config file, and then that config file will contain all the information that I need that can be sort of programmatically slurped up by the Blender add-on. Is the dream. Um, cool. That looks great. Thank you for your service, Aaron. Uh, I'm excited for more. Um, Actually, I was gonna say I want to record some data, but like I also personally don't have the ability to record right now because I destroyed my Charuko board in the Axolotl Adventures, which I'll show this off for the stream for them of y'all who are not actually up to speed on every little bitty thing that we do. Um, there's a guy in my department who studies axolotls, uh, and we are working on the open mocap system. Will also be because like the focus is obviously humans because that's what I am, but like something like this could also be used for animal research. Uh, and so this is the. Hey, where you at? Why are you opening? What are you doing? Open with. This is an axolotl swimming around. It's not good for a lot of reasons, but like this is a motion captured axolotl uh, in the lab, like in James Monahan's lab at Northeastern. Um, Look at her go. See, the DLC model is just not tracking well, which is understood. Like we didn't really, it wasn't going to, um, but I think it's cool. We will soon have salamander motion capture, right? Isn't it cool? It's all led by being spearheaded by Chris Chicalo, undergrad extraordinaire. A lot of good folks. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's talk about blenders. Let's talk about what blenders do. What blenders do is they drive me freaking crazy. Um, so basically, if you go into the VS Code add-on world, there is a add-on called Blender Development, which I had installed a long time ago, but I like, it's one of these things like I installed it, but at the time that I installed it, like I didn't know how this stuff worked. And by a long time ago, I mean like this was probably one of the first things I did on Twitch, like back in like October or whatever. It was like, God, I was like, oh, there's this thing. I don't know how to use it. and then, like 6 months or so passed, and like all of a sudden, like I now have a much deeper understanding. Uh, See ya, Aaron. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you for your work. Have a good trip home, I guess. Um, uh, but yeah, so if you just go, if you're interested in connecting VS Code to VS Code's debugger to Blender, if you go into this add-on, the instructions are basically all here. Um, and I'm not going to go over them in detail, but basically what you do is you say you hit Control Shift P or F1, whatever throws up this thing. Yeah, right. Yeah, Summer Sauce, you've been around. You've been around for a while now. Uh, so you do this. So once you have it on, you can just do the search, and you search for Blender. And these are all the things that this add-on can do. And in order to run it from run Blender from the to connect Blender to the VS Code debugger, you start it from here. So you click Blender Start, and then it thinks, has to think about it. What just happened? Oh, and then you have to select. This is the path to the Blender executable, which I have in this. I built this from source, but I don't. I'm almost certain that's not necessary for this to work. Um, and once you select that, wait for it. Yeah, there you go. So now here's Blender, regular old Blender, but it's connected to VS Code. And you got this little debug prompt here. This symbol is like, it says that it's like a remote connection, like it's connected to some like port or whatever the fuck it is, how it works. And this says debug client attached. So this is actually like this version of this instance of Blender is connected to VS Code right now via all of whatever this is. And unfortunately, like it is a little broken, but if I do restart, are you still happy? I actually don't know if this is going to work, but let's give it a shot. So then if you can say Blender run script. You can't just run the script. You have to like use the add-on and say run script. And then if you do that, then it get this, and it's paused right here in the debugger. And so now over here, Blender's frozen because it's like paused in the debugger. And then here, this is the whole thing. This is all of Blender. This is Blender's entire guts. So you have the BPY, and you have, let's see here, you got the context, and you've got this. I know, right? I am also like, wait, hold on, where is he? Look at this guy. It's Cube. This is Cube. This is our friend Cube. He is made of material, and he has a location. Do you know what his location is? It's 0. He lives at 0. We know that. But like, there it is. And then I think this might be the part where it breaks. Yeah, that's the part where it breaks. There is a so this I put a post on. Oh, here's Pooh. Say hi, Pooh. There's something about running it as a script that it leads. There's some security thing that freaks Windows out, and it's related to creating an object. There's some part of this connection that when VS Code through this add-on and the remote port tells Blender saying create a new mesh, Windows sees that as a remote program is trying to create new data on your computer, and we're not okay with that. um, so it crashes. But it's interesting because it's like related to a timeout. So because I had to pause there, let's see. So if I do Alt BB, yeah, it's like one of those things. It's like that's fair. And there is a way. Like there was a GitHub. There was an issue on the GitHub about that problem from a year ago, and it was like blah 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 blah. Oh, I think it's fixed now. And I'm running into an issue here. I think it might be because I'm on the alpha. This is like 293 alpha because, which I didn't really have a big reason for it, but I am very excited about this. They've added a new context window called Spreadsheet, this looks like a pandas data frame, which is very exciting for me because like that's kind of like part of the data format that goes into this. But the issue I'm running into might be related to the fact that it's the alpha build. But the interesting thing is that it's related by Kube. It's related. It's like got a timer on it. So last time when I ran it with the debug thing, and I was like, oh, look at all the stuff in here. But I think if I just run it straight, it just works. See? So look at that. Look at that. I just made a monkey. There's Suzanne. And if I grab you and put you over here and I run it again, there's another one. Isn't that great? Look at that. But then watch this. Watch this. So if I make 2, and I that works. Okay, so 2 works. But if I make 3 work? 3 did work. Can you make interactive window panes in Blender? Can you make interactive window planes in Blender from Python code? The answer is yes. By definition, because all of Blender is based off of open source Python code. The reason why I hesitate is because there is a little bit of like, it depends on what you're asking. Like, can you design a new interface window in Blender with Python code? Yes, absolutely. Can you interact with Blender from VS Code via Python code? I'm not sure, because if you'll notice, like when I pause in the debugger here, Blender is all frozen now because it's yeah. So yes, you can, and I think the way to do it is to make an add-on. So let me rephrase that. The way to do that is to make an add-on. So this is being run as a script. So this is as if it's broken, right? Of course, and it's probably gonna crash. No, we're fine. So this is basically as if I had just typed this code into the scripting tab. And so that's why when I select this, I'm doing run script. And that's where you get into like that Windows like security issue, like you're trying to connect remotely and all that. And so basically you're not, and I think like the vibe I got from the GitHub issue board is like, this is just not really the preferred way to do that. Like if you're going to do this, like just do it from here. What you can do, however, is Blender new add-on. If you click that, I don't know what these are. So let's just say simple. Say test like 5 because I already have a bunch of these. I am John Samir Mathis. Sure, save it there. New folder, test whatever. Oh, it doesn't like it. I have to make a. Let's see. So F1, new add-on, simple. test another number. My name is John again. And it wants to be in here, which is empty. So you have to give it an empty folder, which is why it freaked out last time because I didn't do that. And then it creates this, which is just like a template. And it's got a lot of the stuff built in already. It's got the register and unregister, the description and whatever. And then this is the part that I don't have. I'm not gonna be able to do this on the fly, but like there's some sort of wrapping you can do where you can basically plop this kind of Python code. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, into this kind of thing. And then this becomes an add-on that you can like access from like one of these types of things, and you can absolutely create a tab. It gets a little, the terminology might not be exactly right. Like I don't know if what you're describing would be like an add-on or like a layout or like a module or like something like that. But basically the cool thing about this is that you can set it up that like as you go to all your code in here, and then over in Blender, because it's got this remote connection, when you run the add-on in Blender, it will like pause in VS Code's debugger. So that's kind of like, so you can like see all this stuff, like the variables and the context and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things. But like the cool thing is basically like you can do all this stuff from Blender scripting tab, but this is just a text editor. It doesn't have like, you can't do breakpoints, you can't do variables. It doesn't have the connected terminal, because also this is now the terminal over here. Like this is, what are you doing? I don't know what I just did. So this terminal is Blender's terminal because I launched Blender from VS Code. So like if I was getting, so like these are print statements that were from, like these print statements that pop up in this terminal. And you can also use this debug console when you're playing in Blender. So like so I'm gonna be playing around with this a lot. I think a lot. And I unfortunately, like I was hoping to kind of do this in a script just because it's a little simpler. But I think technically speaking, like that security issue, I think it might be a pretty big stumbling block. So all I'll need to do is just figure out how to wrap whatever script I would have wrapped into the functionality of a Blender add-on. And then hopefully soon, I'll have a Blender add-on that you can like, whatever you click on it and it says like, what's the session ID or what's the path to that config file that we were just talking about, and then it will load this data as a Blender scene. And what I want from that is, all right, because I can do this. Wait, no. So what I want in that Blender scene is going to be basically, so like the skeleton itself, like as a skeleton, as like which I'm working with someone else to like figure out how to like, because right now these are just dots, but I want to load them in as a rigged skeleton, like a fully rigged skeleton, which is actually totally doable. So the skeleton is a rigged skeleton, the sort of peripheral things like the juggling ball and the markers or whatever, that Charuko, the calibration board, also in there. And if I do, I think it's Shift A, and I do image. How do I do that again? Preferences, add-ons, images. Images as planes. The real heads will know what I'm working towards. That's right, that was gatekeepy, but images as planes. Images as planes is good stuff. And if I do F3, and I do images as planes, Shift A, And then if I put, God, where is anything? Where is anything? Downloads, where is it? Where is this? It's in Dropbox. Let's put this on a, I don't need to be showing everybody every file I have. Come on. I think it's weird that Blender uses like its own little file system. Right. So now if I load in this MP4 file, bye Suzanne, you gotta go. You gotta go, Suzanne. And I go to the render tab. Render view? Is this? Don't crash. There you go. And I say, look. So this is now a, yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's possible it's part of the open source thing, but like, this is actually not the file I meant to read in. But basically, because like, if you just like imagine the scene that was this. Imagine the situation when I was recording this, right? So this is Images as Planes, by the way, which is an add-on, which is just by, so like, oh, I should make this bigger. So like, if you imagine what is going on at like in my house when this recording was happening, was me as a human with hands and juggling balls and 4 cameras in 3-dimensional locations pointed at me with their fields of view overlapping. What that means is that you can think of each of these camera views as just an image plane floating in 3D space, like with, you know, sort of extending outwards from the camera. So you can have a camera that looks like this, that has one of these images attached, and then you have the skeleton inside of that, and you have the calibration markers inside of that, and it's all kind of like, it's just a reconstruction. Like that would be a Blender scene that's you know, that's the full body kinematics, the gaze data, which we haven't talked about yet, but we'll get the gaze data in there later, and the task relevant information, which is the wobble board and the juggling ball, and like, and that's everything. Oh wait, I forgot I didn't do that. Wait, where are you? Why are you here? I've lost one of my cameras. There we go. Get here. So yeah, this will be the whole thing. We'll get there. We'll get there, piece by piece. But yeah, a lot of cool progress recently in this space. So Somber Sauce and Zeka, if she's still here, they're still here. I don't know why I assume. Why do I think? I don't know. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. It might be like another soon. We'll get there soon. And then the game, the really fun part will be when this starts becoming like open source stuff, and I start having Zoom TM exactly. The part I'm really excited for, like, is, and this is a little ways down the path, is like making the repository open is one thing, but then like having like the software repository and like hardware recommendations that say like just buy like 4 webcams and like maybe some extension, like 4 webcams and like maybe some like USB hubs, and then like anyone could do this, like anyone could, like all you need is like, you know, $80 for the webcams, and then you could be, this could be your data. Like I'm not even a part of it. You just kind of go into your wherever house, part of your house, hook up the webcams, print out a board, run it through the pipeline, and then boom, you are in Blender. Soon TM. That's when it'll happen. All right. I'm out. I'm spent. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. This was a fun stream. I'm happy with what we got done, and progress is happening. It's exciting. It's like Somber Saucing. Was there anyone else here that I recognize from the past? You recognize sort of that it yeah. You recognize kind of the path to get here. This is why I'm doing this stuff. Is this stuff takes so much time, and but cool stuff comes out of it, and I'm very excited to get to that, to continue along this line, and I'm super excited to share. So thank you, and same time next week, I think. I might actually shift my stream around now that daylight savings time is gone and the sun is back. I think I might want to take my, I think I might want to free up my Fridays, but I'll pick another time of the week that's roughly this time-ish. But thanks for popping by, and